Something that I was really thinking about, because like I really question it. Still, I do. Um, I've been around a lot of people that are real believers in God and stuff. And they always say the phrase, "God is good. God is good." I, I still don't know on that statement. I still don't know. I'm serious. I still don't know. That's how much I've been through. That's how much shit I've been through. I still don't know if God is good or not. I don't know. I haven't made the final verdict. I don't know. I don't know if God is good or not. I don't. That's the kind of life that happened to me. That's the kind of life I endured. That's the kind of life I endured. I don't even know if God is good or not. I can't even say it and be honest about it. I can't. And you know how honest I am. That's a crazy thing to say. That's a crazy thing to say. After all this time on the planet, I still don't know if God is good. Still. At the end of it all. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm hard to impress. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just a loner still. I don't know. I don't know if God's good. I don't know. Maybe in 10 years from now, say God is good. I don't know. But right now, I don't know. God has helped me, obviously, for 10, 11 years. But I still count the bigger picture. I do. And God knows that. I still count the 29 years before God has been obviously helping me. Obviously. I count the 29 years of hell before that. I see the whole picture as a whole. And the verdict right now is I don't know if God's good or not. I don't know. It's up in the air still. That's what's crazy. I'm like trying to walk this road for God. I am. And I don't even know if he's fully good or not. I don't know. Most of my life I didn't think he was good at all. I didn't think God was good at all. If anything, I thought he was bad and against me. That's what's crazy. I'm trying to walk a road for God. I don't even know if God's fully good at when all's said and done. I mean, fully good. Fully good. like beyond the definition of good. Beyond what men say is good. That's what I'm talking about. He can see things so well, the bigger picture of it all, that he allowed horrific things to take place. No intervention. For me and for you, probably. So it's interesting. But God does things on purpose. He does. There's a reason why he didn't step in, obviously. In my opinion, for 29 years straight. Obviously stepping in. There was no obvious stepping in my opinion. To defend me from anything. That's why this is interesting. Like I said, it'll be the final battle axe gavel chop of my investigation on God. If he's fully good or not. Like no bullshit, good all the time. He can see things that well. The bigger picture. He's probably yelling at me. He's like, you told me not to intervene until you were tapped out. I probably did say that to God. I'm like, don't help me. Don't help me until I'm completely beaten. Don't help me until I'm completely beaten like a true warrior. That's exactly what happened. No help from God in obvious ways until I was completely beaten. If there was help from God, I would not have gotten beaten that bad. No joke. No joke. It's been hard for me to see God as anything that great. It has been. I still think he's that defective thing that can't defend children. That's how I see God. He's just defective. He can't defend children. No joke. But maybe he sees the bigger picture of it all. Of all those children he didn't defend, he saw them ascend later on to this point. I don't know. He had a grand plan of it all, of not stepping in for so long and then stepping in finally. He had a grand plan to it all, I guess. Like I said, he's insane. God's strategic to an insane degree that not even the enemy is even close to predicting what God is doing. Even I've been way off of what God is doing. I've been way off. I've been way off of what God is doing. I have. Way off. So I know the enemy is way off of predicting what God is doing. Way off. No joke. Like I said, only God knows what he's doing right now. For my direction, my plan, only God knows what he's doing. Only God knows my plan, basically. Only he does. That's a true statement. He knows I'm like walking on water still with faith. Not even knowing if God is really good or not. Or if he could fulfill promises. Nothing. You know, like I said, I only have one promise to go off of. The one promise that I knew was from God. The one promise I knew was from God for sure. It happened. So that's all I have to go off about God's promising stuff and delivering. That's it. No joke. No joke. But yeah, I feel like I confirmed that. I pretty much confirmed the God cannot lie thing. I'm pretty sure I confirmed that. That might be legit. The God cannot lie thing. That might be legit. I think I confirmed that. That might be legit. But if the next promise that I was promised happens, then it's definitely legit. That statement of God cannot lie. It's definitely legit if I basically get married and have kids. It's really legit then. No joke. But anyways, I feel like I confirmed the God cannot lie thing. It might be true. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That might be true. That was on the gavel for a while. The God cannot lie thing. Because a lot depends on that. A lot depends on that, if I stay alive or not. I know that's crazy to a lot of people. You should stay alive for other stuff. No. I've experienced so much on this planet. I'm done. I'm done. It's about God's promises now. It is. I don't care about anything on the planet. Not really. But no joke. That's what I was thinking about, when I was around true followers of God, they're all, God is good, God is great. I'm like, do I believe that? Not yet. I really don't. That's a crazy thing to say. It is. I really don't know. That's why my full trust in God isn't there. I don't know if he's fully good or not. I don't know. I don't know. You had to have lived my whole life, like I said, to understand. I don't know if God's fully good or not. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, God could leave me in pain and homeless so easily it's not even funny. So I don't know if he's fully good or not. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. I tell the truth. I tell the truth. I don't know if God's good or not. I don't know. I'm a man standing alone still. I don't know. After all this time. But I got an army out there with you guys. So maybe I'm not standing totally alone. But does that mean God is good that I have an army? Not really. That doesn't prove that God's good that I have an army. That doesn't prove he's good. It doesn't. Even corrupt people have armies. Even Satan has an army. You know, that doesn't prove God's good just because he has an army. You know what I mean? So that's what I've really been wondering. Is God good? For real? Is he good? I don't know. Other people around me are convinced that he's good. Apparently God's been better to them than me. Apparently. Throughout their lives. God's like, just be patient. The good stuff is coming. I don't even care at this point. I don't care at this point. This is way too long. 10, 11 years of pain and suffering longer for no promise, nothing? I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. So that's where I'm at. So I'm like, let's just do my purpose, God, and you twinkle me off the planet. You do that, you know. Do this purpose quickly. But I have seen, and this is no joke, I have seen why God brought me into the mix. I have. He knows I'm not like the other men on the planet. I'm not. No joke. He knows I'm pretty legit. Like Jesus was legit. I'm that legit. In my stance. No joke. I feel like I have to keep reminding myself that Jesus isn't like the men on the planet. I have to keep reminding myself of that. Like, he isn't like the men on the planet. Just ignore it. Just ignore the greed, the power. Ignore it. Jesus ain't like that. I have to keep reminding myself. I do. Because for a lot of my life, I thought Jesus was like the men of the planet. I did. Greedy, power hungry. I did. So I have to keep reminding myself that Jesus isn't like that. Which I hope is true. I don't know. Better be true. Or I'm the better man again. That's another thing. I'm like walking this road. I still think I'm a better man than Jesus in some areas. Some areas I think I'm better. Like nobility. Yeah. I do. I'm not fully convinced Jesus is better than me in every area. Love, yes. Love, he's better. Everything else, I don't know. Does he have my imagination? I don't know. I don't know. Only God knows. I admit I don't know everything about Jesus. I don't. I don't know everything about him. I wish I could figure him out, but I can't. But anyways, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I said before, if God doesn't keep backing me up, it's over. Because I lived my whole life thinking there was no God. I had no faith in God for most of my life. That was the problem. I didn't believe in God for most of my life for a good reason. I didn't. And so I took a lot of damage, self-hate infliction, trying to destroy myself because I didn't believe in God. No joke. So me trying to believe in God now after all that has been hard. Has been hard. To the point where I'm not convinced that God is good. I'm not. I don't know. When all's said and done, if God is good or not, I don't know. I don't know. It'll be the final thing on the judgment. The battle axe judgment. If God is fully good, no exceptions, all the way around good, at the end of all said and done. Because I don't know for sure. It'll be the final battle axe shot. Because if I fully knew he was fully good and I could fully trust him, I'd be walking this road differently. I would. I'd have more confidence in God than I do. Like I said, I'm kind of walking this road not sure about God. I am. I'm walking this road, I'm not sure about God. I'm not sure if he's good or not, or if he could lead me all this way and abandon me, strike me down, you name it. I don't know. I don't know. No joke. I don't know. And that's a true statement. I don't know. I don't really have a choice. I don't have a choice, really. I don't have a lot of real allies, really. Not really. I can't go to somebody like, hey, can you help me out with this? Not really. I don't feel like. Maybe I do. I don't know. Maybe I do. I don't know. And I just don't want to believe I have allies. I don't know. I want to believe it's over. That way I can say, see, God, I told you were bad to the core. I told you. God knows I'm waiting for that moment. I'll be like, I told you, God. I told you you would abandon and betray me. I told you. God knows I'm waiting for that moment. I'm like, I knew you were like everybody else. I knew you were like everybody else. God knows I'm waiting for that moment. Even though it'll cost me my life. It'll cost me my life. After I say, God, I told you would betray me and abandon me, I have to end my life after that. I do. God knows as well. So. Anyways, I better get going, but I feel like I had to make a video because it really clicked to me. It did. I'm around real God followers, real ones. I've been around real God followers that truly believe in God for a while now. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't even know if God is good. At the end of the day, I don't know. Even still, I don't know if God's good or not. I don't know. I don't know. I'm taking a chance with God. I am taking a chance. I don't know if God is good or not. I don't know. Don't know. But he knows I'm wanting to prove that he's not good like you and I believe. Even if it costs me my life, which it will. Proving that God is not good will cost me my life in the end. It will. I know it. I do know that. But anyways, that's all I'll say for this video. That's a crazy thing. Like, after all this time, it's been clear that God's been helping me. It's been clear. I still don't know for sure if God is good at the end of the day. I don't know. I don't know. When I look at my whole life as a whole, I'm not sure if God's good or not. I'm at the not sure point. I don't know if God's good or not. I don't know. Some of you are convinced God is fully good. I felt the love of God, yes. Does that mean he's good? I don't know. Just because you can feel the love of God doesn't mean he's good, fully good. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that. No joke. So that's why I was really questioning myself today. Because about 12 years ago, yeah, about 12, right around that time, 12, 13 years ago, if someone would have asked me if God was good, I would have said no. I would have said no very fast. Like, no, he's not good at all. Nope. He went bad somewhere along the lines. Somewhere along the lines, God went bad. I don't know why. That's what I would have said about 12, 13 years ago. And even about 20 years ago. Most of my beginning years, if someone would have asked me if God is good, I would have said no. He's not good. I would have been like, look at my life. Does it look like God has blessed me? As I sit here alone, again, even now, I sit here alone again, with nothing of value. Dust and air, as the Gladiator says. Most of my life has been dust and air. No joke. Pointless stuff, pointless things, pointless religion, for no reward from God to be seen anywhere. Dust and air, as I say. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't. Everyone around me is like, God is great, God is good, God is this, God is that. All I can confirm is God can suffer. He can suffer. God can suffer. He can. I can confirm that. God's honorable so far. Seems honorable. He knows what honor is so far. Seems honest so far. Seems like God's honest so far. Nothing to contradict that. But is God fully good at the end of it all? I don't know. Like I said, I may be singing a different tune. If I have a wife and a kid named Timmy, I may be singing a different tune. I may be. About if God is good or not. I may be singing a different tune at that time. I don't know. Only God can see me 10 years from now. If I'm singing a different tune, because God knows I'm honest. And at this time, I can honestly say I don't know if God's good or not. That's why there's a hesitancy in my walk. In the way I live, there's a hesitancy. I still don't live if God is fully good. I still don't. No joke. If I believed God was good, I would think differently. I would walk differently. I would carry myself differently. No joke. But God is making me believe that I'm a better man than him. No joke. He's making me believe that for some reason. He's allowing me to believe that as far as goodness, I'm better. He is. He's allowing me to believe that at this time. I'm like, defend a child from abuse? No problem. I can do that. God couldn't do that? Does that mean I'm more good than God to defend a child from traumatic events? I don't know. Would it mess up everything to defend people from horrific things? Would it mess up the whole universe to intervene and stop horrific things from happening to people that ruin their lives forever? No joke. Until you end up like me. I don't know. Because God knows what these horrific things that I endured did to me. He knows what it did to me. It's not a joke. That's why I'm not fully convinced about God's goodness. I'm not fully on board. I'm honest. I'm not fully on board of saying God is good without me irking those words out of my mouth. You know what I mean? Like, do I believe this? No, I don't. If I was saying God is good, I'd be lying right now at this time. I don't fully believe that. I don't. That's the final thing. Even after the love thing, even after determining God's love, He can love, He can. Even after determining that, goodness is the last thing. It's the last thing on the final chopping block for me. It'll be the last thing I say about God, if God is good. I've never said that and meant it in my life. I've never said God is good and meant it. That's the kind of life I lived. I never said God is good and meant it. Never. I live as if God is not good. That God will betray me eventually. That's how I live. I'm like, this'll end bad, no matter what. Even with God helping me, this'll end bad, you know. But anyways, that's all I'll say for this video. I'm gonna go do stuff right now. So I'll talk to you later.